Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, we came here to the Ice Cavern, where we got some very heavy shoes and some very strange fire. This episode, we won't be using the heavy shoes for a while, but we have a large side quest to do. We got to do a series of two. Remember we did all those trading with the masks when we were a kid? That's the kind of the child trading side quest. The adult trading side quest is what we're going to be doing this episode. And you can only do it at this point in the game, because it requires King Zora to be defrosted. So let's defrost him. I've got one final piece of blue fire, so I'll also defrost the shop, but it's not really necessary. So if we talk to him, oh god, time to do this voice again. I got a face I do for the King Zora's voice. I kind of do a little duck face, kind of with my lips. So let's try that.
Oh, I've come back to life. Was it you who saved me? Don't be nervous. It looks like you have a hard time breathing underwater. As an expression of my gratitude, I grant you this tunic. With this, you won't choke underwater.
You got a Zora tunic. This diving suit is adult size, so it won't fit you as a kid. When you wear it, you won't drown underwater. So it's very bloody handy to have in combination with the iron boots. You put the Zora tunic on, the iron boots on, you can just walk around underwater indefinitely. They're a handy kind of combo. Oops. So I'm just going to go and free the shop. But, so, technically, there's not really, you have to free King Zora. I think, actually, maybe you can leave him frozen, I don't know. But basically, you have to get the Zora tunic, and there are two ways of doing that. One is to unfreeze King Zora and get it from him. The other is if we throw open the shop. You can see they sell, amongst other things, they sell Zora tunics for 300 rupees. This is in case yours gets nommed by a like, which can very much happen. But you can also just buy one from here in the first instance. You don't need to necessarily get it from King Zora. But it's free. Not that we're actually low on rupees or anything, but hey. Anyway, now it's time for side quests. You'll see the point at which we need King Zora for this, but to start this off, we need to go to Kakariko Village. So, remember this woman who we brought her chickens back to her, and she gave us an empty bottle many episodes ago? If we talk to her, I bred a new type of miniature cuckoo. I call it the pocket cuckoo. I don't get goosebumps from this baby. Cuckoos are very good at getting lazy, late risers out of bed. Haven't you heard of them before? It makes them very happy to crow. Crow! What? That wasn't a chicken noise. What the hell was that? Yeah, the birds that should be cock-a-doodle-doo is not going to come out as cuckoo. That's wrong onomatopoeia is what that is. Wrong onomatopoeia. Shut up, doctor. Especially when it wakes up a very heavy sleeper. However, my cuckoo is not entirely happy right now. You look like you're good at handling cuckoos. What a strange thing to say. Here, take this egg. After the cuckoo hatches, bring it back to me after a while and I'll check out its mood. What do you think? Will you try? Answer yes. We get a pocket egg. A pocket cuckoo will hatch from it overnight. So, I'm going to place this onto our touchy button and then need to wait till tomorrow. Look, your cuckoo hatched from the egg you're incubating. It's the miracle of life. So yes, now you can see in the bottom right of the bottom screen, we have a pocket cuckoo. And we need to use it to wake someone up in order to kind of progress the quest along. So, if we go into this house here, we'll see a familiar face. Fast asleep as he was 7 years ago is Talon. So let's wake him up with the cuckoo again. What in tarnation? Can a person get a little shut-eye around here? Did you save Mallow? Thanks. I'm going back to the ranch then. Yeehaw! So, if you just basically need to wake him up in order to make the cuckoo happy, essentially. But if you weren't aware of like the fact that Ingo's taken over the ranch, he'll tell you about it then. But obviously, we've already handled that a while ago. For what I'm doing at the moment with this quest as well, I don't know if you strictly need Epona, but I'm pretty sure you do. It's certainly bloody hard to do without it. You'll see why. So, if we go back and show her the pocket cuckoo. Oh, your cuckoo looks pretty happy. He must have awakened an extremely lazy guy. You're a good cuckoo keeper. I'll give you a rare, valuable cuckoo if you're interested. His name is Kohiro, and he used to be my brother's cuckoo. Its blue body is quite charming. It's so cute. Since my brother has gone, it's strange, but Kohiro has stopped crowing. Do you want to keep Kohiro? I'm pretty sure, the more I think about this, it's probably Kojiro, because Kojiro sounds kind of quite Japanese, but Kohiro sounds so much better. Anyway, you returned the pocket cuckoo and got Kohiro. Unlike others, Kohiro rarely crows. Take him to the location marked on the map screen. You might find someone who knows this bird personally. That second part, the hint, was not there on the original version. You just had to kind of figure this out. Because indeed, if we bring the map up, you will find Kokiri Forest is being indicated. And yes, you kind of this whole trading quest was a lot harder to figure out in the original version. Anyway, what we're actually going to do here is a bit of a side thing. We are going to warp to the Forest Temple. So, in this room in the Forest Temple, there's actually something I missed when we were last here. I meant to do it, but just, you know, didn't. And we need to get to it, so there's a skull tuller up there, and we can only get to it by, we've got to stand here and grapple onto this treasure chest. The chest contains, it's really weird, it just contains a heart, which just heals us by 1 heart. But the most useful thing up here is, of course, the skull tuller. I didn't bother placing Ferora's wind point, because you can actually just warp out of temples using... Don't play the bloody Prelude of Light. Using the warping songs. So, now what we need to do is head to the Lost Woods. I just thought I'd do this while we were back in the forest. So, if we go left immediately once we're in Lost Woods, so this is where we saw those skull kids when we were younger, and there's this guy. You might recognize him from Kakariko Village. When you're a kid, he's sitting around saying people are disgusting. We talk to him now, no response. We should get his attention. So this guy actually, it turns out, is the there's all sorts of family stuff you figure out here. This guy's sister is the Cuckoo Woman. So if we show him Kohiro... Kohiro? Why? Normally only a nice guy like me can tame you. Which means, you must be a nice guy. Please, you must be. Please, Mr. Nice Guy, please. Deliver this to the old hag in the potion shop in Kakariko Village. This will disappear if you take too long, so you gotta hurry. So yes, you got an odd mushroom. A fresh mushroom like this is sure to spoil quickly. Take it to Kakariko Village. So we haven't actually been to the potion shop yet, but yes, we've only got 3 minutes to do this. You can't warp during this, otherwise you will spoil instantly. This bean, we planted when we were a kid, is bloody handy. Normally we'd have to leave the Lost Woods, go through Kokiri Forest, and out again. With this bean, we can just jump onto here and head straight out onto Hyrule Field. Valuable time saver here. Anyway, let's head up to Kakariko. Speed her on, please. So we've actually made it here with a decent amount of time. It's worth noting, what we're about to do, you have to do during the daytime, and I think this still does... Well, I mean, there's still music, so it definitely still counts as daytime. Because so we've not been to the potion shop before, nor have we been to the secret potion shop behind the normal potion shop, so we're going to go to both of them. Here is the regular potion shop. And I'll kind of talk about this more in a sec when we're not on a time scale, but if we come around the back, this is how we get to this area where we went for cuckoos back when we were a kid. If we come up to this house here, this is the secret potion shop around the back. And it has this hag in it. If we show this hag the odd mushroom even. Oh, really? I'd have to talk to her first then.
What a mysterious smell. You must have something.
Well, I tried to show it to you, but apparently you weren't interested. There we go.
That fool! He had to go into the forest. I see. Hey, give it to me now. If you see that fool, give this to him. It is the strongest medicine I've ever produced. However, this poultice will not work on a monster.
So you received the odd poultice. You don't know what's going on between this lady and that guy, but take it to the Lost Woods. The location of the young punk who wants it is marked, which also wasn't last time.
They say that there is no medicine that can cure a fool. I guess that's true.
If you speak to her as well, she will sell you Ultimate Potion for 100 rupees. So this is Blue Potion. Drink it with a button, you fully recover your life energy and magic energy. That'd be great if fairies weren't aplenty and fire up automatically whenever you die. But hey, you know, figured I might as well show it off. Finally, I will show the actual potion shop, because I call it the potion shop. It's not, this front one isn't actually a potion shop, it's more like a bottle shop. And I don't mean a liquor shop in Australia. I mean it sells you things that go in bottles. So there's this weird happy looking dude, but you can buy basically anything that fits in a bottle. So green potions, buy a fairy from me, you can buy blue fire for 300. Whereas you can get it for free from Ice Cavern. Bugs, fish, pose, everything you can conceivably put in a bottle you can buy from that guy. But it's not very useful, so I never find myself doing it. Let's head back to, well, now we're not on a timer, I've actually got some stuff I want to do in specifically Kokiri Forest, as in not just the Lost Woods. So, if we go to this house, it's called the Twins House, and it has 2 branches on top of it, but as you can also see from here, it's got a skull tuller on top of it. We didn't do this last time we were here because we didn't have the hook shop then. Or maybe we did. Either way, it's there. And then the other thing is I want to go into the shop because we still don't have a Deku Shield, which can be a bit of a problem when we're a kid. And so I'm just going to buy one while I'm here. I can buy one, obviously, as an adult, just can't use it. But I'll be going back in time before too long, so handy to have while I'm here. Anyway, let's head back to Grog. That's the punk bloke in the woods, that's what he's called. But when we get here, he's gone. And a child is there instead. That guy isn't here anymore. Except for the Kokiri, people who come into the forest end up lost. They all become Stelfos. That's why he's not here anymore. Only his sword is left. That medicine is made of forest mushrooms. Give it back! And instead we got the Poacher's Saw. The young punk guy must have left us behind. Take it to the place marked on the map screen. Hehe, are you going to become one too? There's a lot of weird semi-half plot in this quest, but apparently, yeah, people who get lost in the forest eventually become a Stelfos, which is a bit creepy. So we assume that old punk died? None of that whole thing with like the medicine stuff ever made much sense to me. But we have the saw, and where to take this is not the most obvious once again. You wouldn't necessarily naturally think to go there. But what we need to do, the map screen now does tell us on the 3D remake, or 3DS remake, we need to head to Gerudo Valley. So Gerudo Valley is slightly different as an adult. There's no longer a woman blocking the bridge. In fact, there is no bridge. But you can cross... I didn't work, did it? Basically, there is a... Oh, I do love this music. There is two ways to cross it, and we have access to one of them at the moment, which is Epona. So I guess in this sense you definitely need Epona for that. Actually, well, no, you could have the other thing. But you can clear the gap quite easily with Epona. We don't yet have the other way of crossing it, but that is not mutually exclusive with Epona. There is this bloke here. I am a master craftsman. Those Gerudo thieves, they broke the bridge. I want to fix it, but all my workers are gone. They said working as carpenters isn't cool, but they went to the Gerudo's fortress to become thieves. Hey, if you're going to that fortress, would you mind finding out what my workers are doing over there? Well, that's a plot for later in the game. For now, if we can show him the saw. Hey, that saw, it's mine! But I thought I left that saw with my old lady. Ah, well. My Biggoron tool broke, so I was going to go to Goron City to get it repaired. You coming here is great timing. Will you give me my saw? Good kid. Thanks. I'm sorry I can't give you something good in return, but take this anyway. So we get, confusingly enough, a broken Goron sword. Visit Biggoron to get it repaired. Weirdly, we have our own broken Biggoron sword. We have the broken giant's knife. But that is... Oh, bloody hell, I can never do this without thinking. So I always get the order wrong. But yes, weirdly that doesn't work. So now we actually technically have two broken Biggoron swords. One that's a weapon and one that's an item. All very confusing. Anyway, as he said, let's go and see Biggoron. Oh, Biggoron's not looking too great. If we talk to him... Oh, he says this. Don't want to talk to him. We want to show him the broken Goron sword. That broken knife is surely my work. I really want to repair it, but because of yesterday's eruption, my eyes are irritated. There are fine eye drops in Zora's domain. You will find them if you go to see King Zora. Please go get the eye drops. The letter he replicates is not a very logical seeming one. So he gives us the prescription for eye drops. We need to see King Zora, and this is why King Zora has to be unfrozen in order for you to do this quest. It's worth noting at this point, I've done the temples in the kind of standard order so far, and continue doing them in the standard order, but you can be pretty flexible with them. You may not be able to necessarily complete the temples, but you can certainly go into some of them, grab dungeon items, come out of them, do other bits. It is a bit more non-linear in its sense of what order you do the big, the kind of the main dungeons in, but I'm kind of just proceeding through them straightforwardly, and as such, this is really the first point you're able to do this Biggoron Sword side quest. Anyway, you'll notice I've come into Goron City. I'm actually going to do a little warp. So you end up in the Lost Woods, and if we take a left, we get here. So you can't use... Wow. This becomes important when you're doing timed things. When you have like a timed ingredient, of which there are more in this quest, you can't use the warping songs, but you can use these warps fine. There are some routes around the place that use these ones for what we're about to do that are faster, that are pretty fast, but I don't like doing it because I can never remember my way. Oh, bugger! I can never remember my way through the Lost Woods when I'm under time pressure. Anyway, we just need to get up to King Zora now. This was just a nice quick way to the top of Zora's River.
Oh, this is, well, eye drops. You might say we have them, you might say we don't. We do have the ingredients. If you take the ingredients to the scientist at the lakeside laboratory, he can make the drops for you. But you need to deliver them fresh. Can you make it before they spoil?
So you get this freak. You get an eyeball frog. Deliver it to Lake Hylia while it's cold. So the lakeside laboratory is relatively straightforward to get to, but it doesn't give you a huge amount of time. We have a nice song that would warp us straight to Lake Hylia, and sure enough, if we were to use it, we would find the frog is spoiled. I actually don't know entirely what happens in that case. I guess you just can come back here and get another one, maybe? Either way, this is what you kind of do need Epona for, just for kind of covering this distance quickly enough. I think might be impossible without her. Anyway, speed her on, please. So, ooh, I ran over that sign. So that took 2 minutes. There's not a huge margin for error in this one, as you can see. You only got like 45 seconds remaining. But anyway, if we take it to this guy, oh, he had a really freaky voice, didn't he? Sound like a fucked up Jar Jar. Oh no, I don't want to just show it to the air. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, wow! I haven't seen an eyeball like frog like this since our domain froze over. These eyeballs are so delicious. Tonight I will cook fried eyeballs for the first time in a long time. Such great stuff. Please say thank you to King Zora. Hey, what? He's for making Biggoron's eye drops? Oh, how disappointing. You should have said so in the first place. Here it is. This medicine doesn't have any preservatives in it, so it won't last long at this temperature. Run as fast as you can to Death Mountain. You're young. You can do it.
So we get the world's finest eye drops. Take them to Biggoron before they go bad. So we got 4 minutes to do this, but we got to get all the way up to Biggoron, and you can't warp for this. So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can go back to Kokiri Forest, hop into the Lost Woods, then take the warp to Death Mountain from there and come out that way, and that works relatively well. It's actually potentially faster if you don't have a sneaky thing that we have. So let's head to the foot of Death Mountain. So if you are fortunate enough to plant the bean here, this can give you a real help, and that does make the route I've taken here faster if you ride this up to, not just to Goron City, but actually all the way up here. And then we're at the bottom of the trail already, and we've just got now nearly 2 minutes to just make it up to Biggoron, which is easy. Yeah, so the route where you take the warp through Goron City, if you... Basically what you do is you take the warp to Goron City, and then you go through the back of Darunia's room to come out near the Fire Temple and approach the crater, kind of Biggoron from the inside of the crater. Whereas here, well, we just need to do some quick shooting. Because basically these... tech ties. These... We haven't really got enough margin for error to risk these skull wall tullers fucking us up. But we can shoot both from here, fortunately. And I think that should be us then having a clear run to the summit. There we go, yeah. So this one isn't exactly the easiest thing ever. There's not a huge margin for error, but it's not awful. Let's go to Biggoron and give him his eye drops. Really? You brought the eye drops? I'm so relieved. I'm going to use them right now. Wow! This is stimulating. It's working great. Now I can get back to my blade business. My work is not very consistent, so I'll give this to you so you won't forget. After a few days, return patiently. So, we basically have to pass, we've got a claim check. And so, for the sword to be completed takes 3 days. So let's play a lot of the Sun Song. So, after your 3 days have passed, even though he hasn't moved the entire time, and actually time hasn't really passed, but hey, anyway, show him the claim check, and he will reward you with Biggoron's sword. This blade was forged by a master smith and won't break. Other than that, it is exactly the same as the giant's knife. It's a two-ended blade which you can't shield with, and you do extra damage with, but yes. And it's bloody good. So, we're going to finish off this episode by going back to... Oh, fuck's sake. Going back to Lake Hylia, because it's time to enter the Water Temple. So that warp takes us to the warp pad, which is here, and it's always raining when you're near the centre of the lake now. We actually don't want to go there quite yet, so let's just quickly nip into the lakeside laboratory. So, we could have done this when we were here last time, but those... When you have one timer on, when you first come in here, and then once you've finished in here, you leave with a second timer on, so... Best to do it now. Let's try out our new Zora tunic. So it is like the other ones, but blue instead. And when we combine it with the iron boots, down we go, and we can stay down forever. And there are two things down here of interest. Number one is a shark, which scared the shit out of me when I first discovered that. But it's just a completely static thing in there anyway. Either way, what we really came down here for is there is a very well hidden Skulltula down here. We can't use our sword. The only way we can actually kill it is using hookshot. Hookshot's one of the very few things we can use underwater when we're walking around. With that done, let's head to the Water Temple. So it's the only part of the lake that's really still significantly underwater. How to get in is this one confused me a lot when I was a kid. You've got this kind of sigil above the door, and you need to hit it. And as we just learned, there's only one weapon you can use underwater, which is the hookshot. Yeah, you open that weird kind of fish lock, which then detaches itself and floats up to the surface. It's really weird looking thing, and it's surprisingly dynamic. What that noise was? There was really like Biggoron noise. Anyway, so this episode we have got Biggoron. Oh, it was Navi going hey, but underwater. This episode we have got Biggoron's sword after a long quest, and we are now ready to fully explore the Water Temple, break the curse, melt Zora's domain, and that's what we'll be doing next episode. Thank you very much, and good day.